what is it about the college game in the US that it just makes it so huge in a way that it really definitely isn't over here in the UK.
Yeah, I don't really know why it hasn't caught on in the UK, but here, yeah, it's so it took me even after moving here, it took me a couple of years to like grasp the college game because there's so many teams and so many different players that you have to try and keep up with. But once you get into it, it's really kind of hooks you in because you want to see the next person who might come through, the next best player. And I think that's what attracts people to watching it, is because they want to, the draft system, the way that works, here compared to, just there's not really a youth setup at, the teams themselves. The youth setup really is the college game, so that people have to watch to see who the next best player is going to be. And there is some big rivalries, in that as well. So if you're from, Michigan, you're going to hate, Ohio State because of the rivalries between those states, and there's that side draws people in. And then obviously if you have children that go to certain colleges, you become a fan of them, and then all of that combined means there's a ton of people who want to watch it.
So if I take college football as an example, so I've got my Oklahoma shirt on here. That's where I went to university. Huge Oklahoma football fan, and they usually try and do a home and home series with another big team kind of every other year. And I know a lot of people that they want to go travel to another stadium. So they were excited a few years ago when Oklahoma went to Notre Dame. They'd go there, they'd mingle with the Notre Dame fans, have an experience of what it's like to be with them. They'd be sat with them in the crowd, have a good time, all good humor. Because I was thinking about this as well. And college tends to be, I think, the exception for a few things. I mean, segueing a little bit, but one of the other differences I find in sports is singing. There seems to be a lot of singing in UK sports, whereas you do not get that in US sports, except for college sports. It's the one place where there's like singing and you have the band out. So there's a few parallels. But I think one of the differences that's going to be a big difference for that is the regional versus national nature of the sports. So I'm from Oklahoma. I've got my Oklahoma shirt on. That's where I went to university. Diehard fan of Oklahoma. That is the local team. Absolutely dominates the local news coverage. The local sports coverage is very much Oklahoma football. If you were to ask me if you were going to Oklahoma, what should you do? We don't have a ton of stuff in this state, to be honest. It's not a big state. We've got two relatively mid-sized cities. So I'd say go see an Oklahoma football game. That's the kind of most exciting thing there.
Is your sports in Vanderbilt purely a geographic thing, but it's in your hometown then?
Yes, absolutely. So my dad is a Vanderbilt fan. His dad was a Vanderbilt fan, just because simply it's 30 minutes to drive downtown. That's where we can go watch games, follow the team.
Yeah, college sports are a big thing in the US, and that is particularly true of football in the South, I would say.
Oh yeah, for sure. And even up in the Northeast as well. I mean, there's, like I was talking about, Penn State, they're huge. Ohio State, obviously, Notre Dame. I mean, there's some huge fan bases, and very loyal fan bases.
The BCS podcast is written, produced, edited and hosted by me, Brett Walker. Thank you to Boris Anderoff and Pixabay for the use of the music and sound effects in this podcast.